The Magic Mike Show, where you hear the experts speak. The Magic Mike Show. Tune into the show every week. The Magic Mike Show. You can trust the show is the bomb because it's being brought to you by RacingDudes.com.
What's up, everybody? I'm Magic.
And I'm Mike.
And this is the Magic Mike Show, episode 502, Mr. Somich.
Keeneland. Huzzah!
Huzzah! My dogs are excited that we're on live, too. Yeah, they just, literally, as I hit the live button, they just started going nuts back there.
They should be. Let's go.
They're letting the neighbors know it's Keeneland time on the Magic Mike Show. Yeah, we're excited. Good afternoon, Chris Mill. Good afternoon, everybody who's watching and will be joining us here for this one. 8 minutes before we went live, Mike texted me and goes, I don't think that your ticket on the back end is correct. The races are the 6 through 10 for the pick 5 at Keeneland, not the actual last 5 races, which makes sense. Like, I understand putting that maiden special weight at the very end because it's a big field and you could go a lot of different ways. From a betting perspective, that's a good one to put there. But why put it there if it's not the last leg of the late pick 5? I don't understand it, Mike.
Interesting decision not to have the 11th say, I don't know, the 5th or something like that, right? But they wanted to have the all graded stakes pick 5. So we got 2 grade 2s, 3 grade 1s. Nice little smattering of races here. Means we have some cheaper tickets today, too. Neither of us going over the $40 mark with the 50-cent tickets just because I think we both have some A, decent opinions, and B, there could be a little chalk coming in here at Keeneland this weekend, I'd say.
Chris Mellis said, the 3 people who annoy me most in the world. 1, Daniel Jones. 2, the dude who insists on including over-under turf sprints in every single Keeneland pick 5 and 6. And 3, Daniel Jones again. Sorry, Chris.
I don't know. We don't, so that's not us, at least. That's a positive.
Yeah, I don't. That's it. Man, shut up back there. Those
you know who makes my list today? The people who annoy me the most? Brad Cox. I really don't appreciate all this cross-entering at Keeneland and Aqueduct. I mean, what is up with that?
You'd think it was like fairgrounds on one of their big days, like during the springtime when it's like, hey, 3 horses are entered in 4 different races. How are you even allowed to do that? Ugh, I hate that. Yeah,
I know. It's just kind of ridiculous, man. It's like, come on, can we just if we're gonna run and create, where the horse is training. It's like you have an idea that you're not shipping them in right now. They're already where they're gonna be. Can we just single enter these horses, make everybody's life easier?
Well, hopefully we'll make your life a little easier by giving you some winners or at least some good discussion here on Keeneland's late pick 5, which are races 6 through 10, all graded stakes, like Mike said. 3 of them are Breeders' Cup winning your wins. The other 2 used to be, and they might as well be because lots of talented horses. Let's get into it, buddy. Special little commercial break here. We'll be right back. Riders up!
We are so pumped to offer the best deal we've had all year long. Not 1, not 2, but 3 upcoming wagering guides absolutely free. Subscribe, you're getting all 3 of those for free. That betting Bible this weekend, Keeneland on Saturday, October 7th. There's 5 graded stakes races, really, really good racing, top to bottom on that card. So you'll want to get myself and Halterman's what we're betting every single race. Who do we like? What are our best bets? Pick 3s, pick 4s, pick 5s, ROIs included. You'll also get top 4 picks from every single race from every handicapper at RacingDudes.com. That's all available in the betting Bible as well as the Breeders' Cup betting Bible coming out next month. All right, guys, go get your hands on this right now. October 4th to October 7th, 3 wagering guides absolutely for free. Any subscription you can get your hands on, you'll get those included. All right, guys, good luck this weekend.
That's right, the Magic Mike Show presented by the Inside Track. No, that's the old one. The Coolmore Turf Stakes betting Bible. I forgot about the name change. Yeah. We'll run this back. That's right, the Magic Mike Show presented by the Coolmore Turf Stakes betting Bible. It's available now at RacingDudes.com. It is free along with the Breeders' Cup 14 Trends and the Breeders' Cup betting Bible at $130 value. It is free with any subscription, monthly subscription at RacingDudes.com. That could include the Somobomb, which will be targeting Keeneland this weekend. And of course, starting off the late pick 5 at Keeneland on Saturday, October 7th, race 6, the grade 2 Woodford Stakes, 12 males 3 and up, sprinting 5.5 furlongs on the turf. Not officially a win, and you're in for the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, but you got to assume at least the winner goes from this race, if not a few horses. So tell me, where are you going on top?
Let's get spicy, baby. 12-1. Give me the 9 horse Coffee Maker on top here. Nice win last time out at Saratoga. It's a horse that was supposed to be the bee's knees and was more the pig's rear for the early part of his career after getting a nice W onto the board at Keeneland to break the maiden, going 4.5. Went over to Ascot, didn't run very well there. Came back over here, didn't run great until about October 16th, 2022. Gets a nice win off the layoff here at Keeneland, comes back, runs okay in affiliate allowance. But that last race at Saratoga looked like the old Coffee Maker once again. I think we're rip-roaring ready to go here. We know Wesley Ward does well at Keeneland. I love that Saya is back aboard, 2 for 2 with this horse. Love me the price at 12-1 too. Give me Coffee Maker on top here. A little price to kick us off, Magic.
I misspoke. I apologize to Coffee Maker. It's not 12 males 3 and up. It's 12 horses 3 and up. You got to stop misgendering these horses here. Yeah, no, Coffee Maker, the filly here. And it really is. My job, actually, is to make sure I put this horse on there as well. It's Wesley Ward in the Keeneland Turf Sprint. Not my top pick, my second choice, but absolutely agree with you that's the price we get. And I was hoping, because she's a filly, I was like, hey, we'll get a little bit of a weight break. Nope, she's carrying 120, but that's okay. We'll still take her. Love the size is going to be on her. Yeah, all systems go for that one. My top pick,
Sired by
Coffee Maker.
Yeah.
Oh, Jimmy Creed. I was like, I don't think the violence.
Also friends with Casa Creed.
Anyway, my top pick in here, just to the inside, number 8, Our Shot, sired by Cantheros, if you want to know. Another great turf sprint sire. For me, this horse, I think, is going to be peaking at just the right time. At Saratoga, last time out, we got third by a neck to Thin White Duke and Big Invasion, a really great turf sprinter. Thin White Duke, isn't that a donk horse? Did we do donk on turf at Saratoga? The race before that got the win in a turf allowance at Saratoga. The race before that, this horse has just very consistently either been winning or like just missing by the slimmest of margins since becoming a turf sprinter. So I like this horse a lot. I love that we got that 3-length victory here at Keeneland. But the horse is a front runner, but doesn't need to be on the front. It can sit off a little bit, especially showed that on the dirt as well. So I think the horse, is tactical. Whatever Tyler Gaffleone, the king of Keeneland racing, wants to do, give it to me, T-Gaff. Our Shot at 9-2.
Yeah, Thin White Duke and your buddy there, Big Invasion, facing off in the Grade 3 Turf Sprint at Belmont at Backwooddock. It's the Belmont Grade 3 Turf Sprint at Backwooddock on Saturday as well. Our Shot has no shot. No need to use that horse. Just chuck him out, baby. I don't like this horse. I just, didn't make the top 4 for me. Give me Beer Can Man, though. The 11, we talked about this. When Diamato ships, they run. Diamato shipping, Beer Can Man's going to run. Don't love the post, though. The 11 post, pretty tough to win from when you're at Keeneland. So that to me is the one knock here. I thought Beer Can Man ran well over this course off a monster layoff, over a year off. Came back and ran a decent 5th as the favorite that day. Came back at Pimlico, was able to get the job done over Nothing Better in Coppola. That last 2 at Del Mar, I think, was a little bit overmatched considering who he was facing. But now Diamato sends this one back out to the East Coast. I think Beer Can Man is all systems go here. He's got a pretty good shot at getting the W. So give me the 9 and the 11 as the 2 must uses. We both have a $5 ticket and a 50-cent ticket. I'm just going with a 9-11 on my $5 ticket. How deep are you going on yours?
So a $5 ticket, I'm going 4 deep. I hit the all button here because I do have a couple of singles later in the sequence here on 50-cent and $5. So I hit the all button. Sometimes in these turf sprints, things can get wacky. I also, in my 50-cent ticket, am trying to beat, like you are, the favorite here, the number 2, Living the Dream at 3-1. We can talk about him a little bit because we're both trying to beat him, but because of that, I really think that, hitting the all button is kind of like a safety net to get through here, but I think he is beatable. Beer Can Man, 3rd up for me. Flavian Pratt rode this horse at Keeneland when he came back from the big race. You remember that day too? Of course you do. That was the day D'Amato had one other horse earlier that day run huge, and we were all like, D'Amato, and then this horse came up there and got hammered because the previous D'Amato ran his ass off.
Yeah, and just missed too. This one won that day, right? You're talking about the Pimlico race or the
No, I'm sorry, at Keeneland.
At Keeneland.
There was earlier that day. There was another D'Amato horse, or the day before, that had run extremely huge.
That was a fine race, though. Front Run the Fed won that race at like 15-1 or something, I believe. I remember that. That was a fun race. Front Run the Fed, the one win that he's ever had, I think, since we started picking like every race. So I used the two. I used Living the Dream. That was my third horse in here. This one's coming from Europe. I'm interested to see what the actual off odds are here. A lot of times you don't see turf sprinters get bet when they come over here, but the big thing about this horse, this is a speed horse. And we don't see a ton of speed turf sprinters from Europe come over to the U.S. It's going to be interesting to see if Living the Dream can be able to have that same pace over here that he had over there. Generally, the United States sprints are significantly faster early than these European sprints. So the trip here is going to be a big part of whether or not Living the Dream is going to be able to be up there. But when you look at what this horse has done overseas, I mean, the 123 time form jumps out of the page, winning a Group 1 last time out at York in Great Britain. And this horse was on the lead the whole way, won at 28-1 that day, beating 15 other horses. That was second out as a 4-year-old. We talk a lot about like that kind of late 4-year-old season, second off a layoff angle, took a nice step forward. Feels like this is hey, we're going to test the waters here if we can go to the Breeders' Cup Sprint or not. So I would expect this one's going to be reared and ready to go here. So I did use the 2 as my third horse on. So you weren't a fan of this 2 at all?
I'm trying to beat First Time North America inside draw, and this horse from the replays and everything that I was able to see, this is a front runner, and so that means that you need to be faster than 10 other horses out of the stall to your outside who are used to running here in America on this, this style of breaking from the gate that we have. I just think it all sets up to try and be, again, I hit the all button for 50 cents, so it kind of covers here, but for my $5 ticket, I'm absolutely trying to beat this horse.
Yeah. Okay. No, that makes sense. All right. So I'm using the 2, 9, 11. I'm using one other in here. Let's see. Do we have overlap on the other?
We don't. They're right next to each other, though. I'll go first. I'll talk about the 7 Coppola, 12-1 here. Both getting horses at odds, too. Dale Romans, man, I don't know why.
You love Dale Romans.
I love Dale Romans. I love me some Dale Romans. Listen, this horse.
Halloween.
When Romans got his hands on this horse, he actually was like, you know what this horse is? What I'm great at is Dale Romans. I'm great at turf sprinting. So we're going to make this horse a turf sprinter. Had that super effort at Churchill Downs in the third effort. The first 2 before that weren't terrible. A good fourth to your buddy Smokin' Jay. And then Shecky Shabazz time traveled from 3 years ago and showed up and won that second race there. But then a good third to Beer Can Man at Pimlico. The Grade 1 Jaipur way in over his head, but that was Caravel. It was Casa Creed. I mean, it's Casa Creed. You can't fault him for not showing up against Casa Creed. Ran well. He finished 6th. He's only beaten a length and a half in allowance at Saratoga that had some good horses in there, including my top pick, Our Shot. Missed Arzak 2 back when he was trying to set the pace. Went back to stalking last out. Coppola got the win. So give me Coppola, I think, sets a really nice stalking trip, a pressing trip. You got the 1, the 12, the 2 if he's lucky to get out of the gate. So yeah, I like the 7 here. Nice front running trip.
It definitely got a shot. I mean, this is one at 12-1. I wouldn't just try and talk anyone off of. I like obviously that race back at Churchill. It's the 101 buyer and just looks like a monster beating Mr. Is pretty good race there. If we can go back to that, definitely has a big shot. And you're getting the right price on Dale Romans. You want that 12-1. Man, that would have been a fun payoff to losing the fantasy league if we made someone dressed like Dale Romans at the Breeders' Cup.
Wow.
Yeah, that would have been a good time. I'm going to go right to the inside here. I'm going to go with the 6 Olympic Runner as my next one on here. Interesting career shift here. So it's generally a Woodbine horse for a long time. The last 5 races all been in the U.S. and gotten progressively better with each one of those starts. I love the cutback to sprinting 2 back. When we go 5.5 at Colonial, horse was able to win that race, won at 10-1, jumps up into the turf sprint at Kentucky Downs. And I actually thought ran exceptionally well there. Ends up missing by a half length, got beat by Bad Beak Brian by a neck, but the top 4 really a blanket finish at the finish line. And I thought Olympic Runner did the most running to be able to go wide, come from way back in the pack, make a huge storm home, ended up just missing. I think this turf course is going to benefit Olympic Runner. If you think about like the Woodbine type turf courses, this Keeneland turf course it's not a super long stretch, but it feels like they're in the damn thing forever, and someone can.
It really does.
I mean, it just there's like 7 cameras they have to go to, and so I think this stretch is a positive for Olympic runner who should be able to close some ground, make up some ground. I want to be more toward the inside, so I like the post position draw for Olympic runner as well. Should be able to save ground, tilt out, and make one big run. Love the price at 10-1, and the connections aren't bad either. You get Hernandez and Cassie here at a decent price with a horse that looks like he should be able to handle the surface in the distance.
I didn't use, but kind of, I'm not going to poo-poo on it. The horse shows up and gives a good effort a lot of times. I'm worried that 5.5 might be a little too short. I know it got the win at 5.5, but it was allowance horses at Colonial. For this kind of level, I feel like maybe a little longer is what the horse needs. But, again, got that 5.5 win 2 back, so maybe what the hell do I know? And you got Brian Hernandez Jr. Doesn't ride often for Mark Cassie, but a great jockey, a great trainer. So don't hate the pick there.
Yeah, hopefully we can just keep improving. I mean, the last 2 starts have been arguably 2 of the best starts of Olympic runner's career. And this is a 7-year-old gelded horse who just seems to kind of figure things out. I like the fact, like I said, we cut back to turf sprinting, and that's when we see this new horse. It's not when we're doing something that's a little bit different than what we've generally been doing on different surfaces. And by that, I mean, not at Woodbine. And then all of a sudden we're seeing a different life for the racehorse. And so that tells me that this horse still wants to run, and that I think shorter distances are a little bit better than longer right now for Olympic runner, who hopefully come charging and gets off to a nice little start, because that wouldn't be a bad all-button horse for you either, Magic.
No, yeah, absolutely. Any of these horses that you're picking at long odds, I'm rooting for you, at least in the 50 center there. Second leg of the...
Can we bring up one more real quick?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
How often do you see Wesley Ward and Jose Ortiz 20-1 on the morning line at Keeneland?
That is an interesting horse. Yeah, Eyewitness, the only 3-year-old in here, 20-1. Got the stakes win at Belmont against 3-year-olds going 7 furlongs, 2 back. And last time ran well to get third from well off the pace. It could hit the board. It wouldn't shock you. The price is surprising, but I think a lot of it is because this horse has just been facing, New York bred 3-year-olds.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that we're taking a step up from, not even graded company 3-year-olds, but, open company, overnight stakes, listed stakes, essentially, was 2 for 2 in stakes races going into that Saratoga race. That was first off a layoff. I think the placement is really interesting here. Like, if you want to spend a little bit more, I don't hate using the 4 here. If you want to add it to my ticket, it would cost you an extra, $9? It'd be a $45 ticket instead of $36. This was the last one off for me. And at a monster price too. I thought that was a decent play.
An all button 20-1 morning line. Sure. Why not? Not a terrible way to kick it off. Second leg of the late pick 5 at Keeneland on Saturday, October 7th, race 7, the Thoroughbred Club of America Stakes, or the TCA Stakes, a grade 2 race for 7 fillies and mares going 6 furlongs on the dirt. A win in urine for the Breeders' Cup filly and mare sprint. Where'd you go on top, buddy?
Well, this is where two roads diverge in the wood, right? You're singling a horse I'm not using, so a little bit of spice there. I guess this is not creative, but it's a little more creative since it's not the favorite. I went with the 1 Wicked Halo on top here. This horse I thought has just run into some absolutely brutal trips if you look back, and really good horses too. I mean, lost to Goodnight Olive, Maturea. Those are some pretty good horses. If they were in here, they'd be really short prices. And that last race is just a straight draw line through it. I mean, the horse just ran poorly. It was a 5-horse field. You never got to see the best from Wicked Halo. I would expect we're not going to see those type of races back to back. She doesn't usually struggle. It was really the first bad race that shows up on her page in her 16-race career. So I expect we're going to get back to the original Wicked Halo here. And it's interesting because she was 39 cents on the dollar that day. She's 5-2 today. And your horse, Yuri Guri, 3-1, 3.5-1 on the line that day. 2-1 today is your favorite. So I like the odds flip here because I feel like that Wicked Halo race is really easy to excuse. It's just, hey, horse had a bad day. Let's move along.
1-5, maybe a little too short to take on her in that spot. I went into this thinking I was going to pick Wicked Halo. I love Wicked Halo. I think the setup from the pace perspective and the distance is what's going to do her in here, and it's why I singled Ugiri. This horse is perfect in 5 starts at 6 furlongs on dirt. She's got the tactical speed where she can lead, she can press, she can stalk. Whatever you need Ugiri to do for Flavien Prat, she can do it. I love that he's riding back. He usually does very well when he rides for Rudy Brissett, a fellow Frenchman. So, Ugiri, I don't see it playing out really much different than it did last time out. And it was 6 furlongs at Churchill Downs. We're switching to Keeneland, but I don't see, with Fire on Time in here again, Wicked Halo in here again, Is Happy Soul going to make that much of a difference where it negatively affects you, Gary? I think it actually helps her.
Interesting argument. I will disagree with you, and I'm gonna actually use a couple other horses in here because I do think this one's ripe for the upset as well. I think you got a shot at getting around specifically the 1 and the 6. I like the 4 Static Fire quite a bit here, who was coming in off of turf efforts. So you specifically look at that last one; it was an absolutely phenomenal effort, going 6.5 furlongs on the turf. The race before that, 5 furlongs on the turf. But you go back to 3 back, and this horse won against 3-year-olds here at Keeneland, going 6 furlongs, got an 83 buyer that day. This horse is good on turf. This horse is good on dirt. If you go back to the allowance win, that was at Churchill on dirt, 86 buyer, was able to go gate to wire. I think the 4 might be the fastest horse early in this race. And if the 4 is able to get out there and be able to get the lead early, or at least attend the pace, I wouldn't be shocked if the 4 is the one that gets first run on everybody here. And then you're trying to catch Static Fire down the lane. And I like the fact that we're second off a layoff, a very long layoff, by the way, a 9-month layoff there. And you also get a horse that just went 6.5 furlongs on that turf course at Kentucky Downs. That's a good race to progress off of, just because the stamina you need to be able to go gate to wire over that Kentucky Downs course at 6.5. It plays almost closer to a 7.5 furlong type race. So I think Static Fire's got a big shot here at a nice little price of 7-2.
Yeah, she's a curious horse here that only 2 dirt tries, but both times 6 furlong allowances, and both of them wins by a length and 3/4. So she's nothing if not consistent. You're getting Christian Torres aboard, who was 2 for 4 riding for Brian Lynch in the last year, 3 for 4 in the money. So good connections there. I didn't use, but I don't hate this one here. You talk about Carl Ramrod's stat there.
Yeah, nice little stat here too. Lynch 32% over 37 starters, turf to dirt, with a $3.90 ROI. That's some phenomenal numbers.
Holy
smokes! Over 39 or 37 starter sample size. Those are phenomenal numbers.
Wow, that is incredible. Good job, Carl Ramrod, on that one. All right, so there's 2. You've got one more, and you are going to use Happy Soul, who I brought up.
I am going to use Happy Soul here. Wesley Ward, switching this one back over to the dirt. Again, this horse has been successful on the Keeneland dirt. 2 for 3. The one race you just throw out was the Grade 1 Ashland. That was a mile and a 16th. This horse doesn't want to go that far. They thought this was a dirt horse. They ran over to the turf. They didn't love what they saw on the turf. Now we're going back over to the dirt. This one has tactical speed, has been able to pass some horses on the turf more recently. But I do think it's another player in this spot. You go back to the winner of the Dixie Bell Stakes at Oakland Park, $150,000 overnight stakes there. Sat in third, ended up getting the win. That was the 3rd career start when this horse started out 3 for 3. And again, this was one of those where everyone thought the sky was the limit for her after she won both those races, the first race of her career by 11 lengths over the dirt. Now we're getting back to the dirt, and you're getting Johnny V up. He's one of those sneaky jockeys when Wesley Ward goes to him that I will kind of gravitate toward, because generally it's because Wesley Ward wants a specific thing. Velasquez has rode this horse consistently throughout her career. They're 20%, Wesley Ward and Johnny V together. I'll take a little bit of a swing here, and I love we're adding blinkers too. So note the only 2 races this horse had blinkers, the first 2 of the career. Won both of those by 11 lengths. When Wesley Ward puts blinkers on, he's 2 for 8 so far, 25%. So he's not something he uses very often, but when he does, it's effective. So I'll take a little bit of a swing here at Happy Soul, getting 8-1 on it.
Technically, she's 2 for 3 wearing blinkers. She also had it on in her debut, but
did
that's
she?
just splitting hairs.
Yeah.
By the way, look who she lost to, was second to Nakatomi, who was in the Phoenix on Friday at Keeneland. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
The Wesley Ward horse too. To me, this is a horse that really doesn't. When the race actually matters, she can't pass horses, and she doesn't pass horses. So, respect the connections. No, not in this spot for me. She was second in this race last year, kind of ran in place. And then Slam just took off and she got distance. So I'll pass on Happy Soul, but hey, maybe blinkers are the magic tonic that puts her back in the winner's circle.
Maybe after this race, you'll have a Happy Soul.
Maybe. We'll see. By the way, we didn't talk about it, but Slow Down Andy, I saw right as we were going live, Slow Down Andy out of the Breeders' Cup. I heard a couple of people whose opinions I trust say that they were a little nervous about the Santa Anita dirt track and how fast all the horses ran over a very hard sealed fast track. So hopefully he's the only one that we lose from that day of racing from Santa Anita. So it's a shame though, because that he was going to be a real fun horse, I think, for the Classic.
Yeah, I mean it's tough when that Santa Anita track gets water. It's never a good thing for the equine athletes. We saw that obviously a couple of years back as well, and you just root for there's less rain at Santa Anita so that you don't have that track harden up. And that's what happens. Once the rain comes, it dries really fast and gets super hard, and it's just not great. So it's hopefully that's the only one we lose.
Yeah. We'll move on. The third leg of the late pick 5 at Keeneland on Saturday, October 7th. Race 8, the Grade 1 First Lady Stakes. 8 fillies and mares routing a mile on the turf. It used to be a Breeders' Cup winning year for the filly and mare turf, which I always thought was funny because it's a mile, and that race is like a mile and a quarter, mile and 3/8. But whatever, it's not the case this year. You do, however, have the defending champ back. She's the 4-5 favorite, but Mike, the fact that there's 8 horses in here tells me that the Sharks think there's blood in the water. They think this favorite in an Italian might be beatable.
Well, to be fair, 3 of them are Chad Brown, so there's really only 5 other horses in here. Look, I love White Beam. We've talked about White Beam on this show at least twice. The last 2 wins, was able to beat an Italian last time out at Saratoga. It was a nice little exacta there. I don't think the mile is the right distance for White Beam. It feels like that mile and an eighth and that extra distance was what made the difference. Now, in Italian should face a little more pace pressure in here, specifically Evie Jets on the outside, who just somehow won from off the pace last time. That one was painful. Fluffy Socks or Jumbly would have been fine with me in the Boston Spa, but Evie Jets gets the job done at 30-1 off the pace. I think in Italian speed is just different, though. I mean, we talk a lot about how when they're fast, but they have high cruising speeds, they're able to get out there, they're able to run away from horses, get comfortable on the front. When you combine in Italian's cruising speed with the fact that this is only a mile, and she doesn't have to hold them off for that extra eighth of a mile, and specifically have to hold off White Beam, who I think is really the only competitor in here for her. To me, this is I ended up singling in Italian. I didn't really want to. I wanted to try and beat her. But I'm going to single here. And I will tell you, I love the 3-2-4 Colts trifecta here as well. I realize it's chalk, but if you walk in there and you're getting 4-1 or 8-1 on the 3-2-4 cold, I love it.
That's funny. I was thinking 3-2-7 cold. New Year's Eve, I think, will be sneaky to hit the board underneath.
So. I don't hate it.
Yeah. Listen, I'm with you. We're both singling in Italian, and I can't agree with you harder with everything that you mentioned about the distance. It favoring in Italian, this is better for her than 9 furlongs. It hurts White Beam. I'm with you. So, defending champ, loves the distance, loves the track, no projected pace pressure. And as Maella says, Joel Rosario accepts your challenge to get an Italian beat.
I mean,
damn it, Chris.
It is the one scary part. However, I will give Joel credit. He's ridden this horse 3 times. The only time this horse was not in the lead was when Tuesday ran down in Italian in the Breeders' Cup. Every other call, he had in Italian in the right spot. Hopefully, he just lets her roll. This is probably like one of the 3 easiest horses to ride that I've since I started following horse racing. Because you don't even need to hey, let's just, rein the speed in a little bit. None of that. It's just literally just hold on and she'll just carry you as far as she can.
Chris Mallow says, is this where we talk about how Irad got off in Italian and up to the mark to ride Fierceness in New York? Yeah, I do love that Fierceness in the Champagne Stakes there. But we're not covering that. We're covering Keeneland. And speaking of 2-year-old colts that he may or may not have decided not to ride, let us talk about the penultimate leg of the late pick 5 at Keeneland on Saturday, October 7th, race 9, the Grade 1 Claiborne Breeders Futurity, a winning urine for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, a Kentucky Derby prep race, and a field of potentially 9 horses going 1 1/16 on the dirt. And I say potentially. The 2 Timberlake, that's one of those Brad Cox horses that just got cross-centered all over the place. So he might run in the Champagne at Aqueduct. I'm not sure. I don't like him either way, so it doesn't matter to me. But I would like him to run because he's takeout. But where are you going on top?
Yeah, I didn't use Timberlake either. I think he's going to run here. He worked out on the 30th at Churchill Downs. So if you worked out on the 30th at Churchill Downs, I would assume you're going to run at Keeneland the next weekend versus ship all the way up there. Now, obviously, it doesn't take that long to ship a horse. They fly them around these days, so totally possible. But based on kind of the fact that Brad Cox has multiple strings, it wouldn't make as much sense for me to ship out of here into there unless you thought this race came up really, really hard, which, by the way, came up pretty good. I think this is a fairly good 2-year-old stakes race here worth the Grade 1 tag and the $600,000. I'm going to go to the rail. Give me the 1, the Wine Steward on top here. Last time we saw this horse, it was very impressive, beating New York breds and El Grand O, who has looked phenomenal in his career. Very hard horse to run down. I think that this is a spot where the Wine Steward's tactical advantage is going to come to play here. You've got a lot of horses that want to go to the front. you've got a couple horses that actually have shown that they can close and beat horses when it's not a complete collapse. West Saratoga, I'm looking at you for a complete collapse. I think that this is going to play out really well for the Wine Steward, who's going to sit in 4th or 5th, save ground on both the turns, and be able to make a big move. I like the price at 8-1. I like the fact we get Saez back on board. To me, it's all systems go here. Let's try and beat the 7-5 favorite and locked.
I'm with you. I'm with Dr. Tang. Let's go Wine Steward. Not my top pick, but second choice in this race, and all the reasons you mentioned. It's kind of funny that this is a son of Vino Rosso who's only ever gone 6 furlongs. Like, he's never gone farther than 6 furlongs. And you're like, you look at the breeding, like, this horse should, I mean, a mile and a 16th pole, we haven't talked about this, but at Keeneland, mile and a 16th on the dirt means that they finish at the 16th pole, which means if you're forwardly placed on the dirt, you've got a better chance. It kind of favors you. So being more forwardly placed with Saez, it's Mikey Makes. I love it. Let's go, the Wine Steward.
The one post also beneficial here, because with tactical speed, that one is going to get you a lot easier to that first turn, which is going to then force other horses wide. A lot of times you'll see horses who have speed on the outside, they don't get that same positioning unless they want to absolutely gun it. And then it makes it a lot harder for those horses to be able to hold on late, even though you do have that short finish line. So I like the inside speed specifically here. It's one of the reasons I didn't put Locked on top. I think that post position is going to be tough for him in the 9 hole.
So we have agreement within our top 2 here. Where we put them is where we kind of differ. And so you singled the Wine Steward on your $5 ticket. I singled the number 3 Awesome Road on my ticket here, and is my top pick. Won his debut at Ellis Park, going 6 furlongs, pressed the pace, and then drew clear. I thought it was nice because he was kind of on the inside and still had to fight back to do it. Bet to even money then for his debut. He's going to be a nicer price in here because of the 9 locked, who we'll talk about in a second. If the 2 stays, the 2 is going to take a bunch of money because that's got Flo riding for Cox. And it was a horse that was second in a grade 1, so there is, that experience coming in as well. But if you look at his debut for Awesome Road, both the 2nd and the 4th place finishers broke their maidens at Churchill next out. And I feel like this kind of sets up storyline-wise. This is why I handicapped it, but just a fun storyline thing. If you remember last year's Breeders Futurity, it was Pletcher and Forte, it was Cox and Loggins, it was that bang-bang battle in this stretch, and Pletcher got the better of him. Cox doesn't forget that. I think Cox is going to get the better of him here, so I think he's going to, Awesome Road's going to get the job done. Also, something Aaron Halchman said a while ago that's always stuck with me. Brad Cox usually sends his best horses to Keeneland when it's open. So the fact that this horse is at Keeneland and he sent other horses to New York or to California, to me it says that Awesome Road he thinks is his best horse right now. Yeah,
I agree. Awesome Road is going to win a photo over Locked for second. Because we're going to win the race. I have
bang, bang, bang.
They can bang heads, and Wine Steward just fly right by on the outside, laughing it up. I've got Awesome Road in second here. This is one where the debut was absolutely eye popping. Go back, you watch it, you're like, damn, that's a good horse. It was bet down like it. It was a decent sized field, so eight 2-year-olds that day. So it's not like we're beating 3 or 4 other horses, which you see a lot. Has tactical speed. Probably is your fastest horse. I mean, if Awesome Road wants the lead, I think it's Awesome Road's lead to have, which is also a positive. Should be able to go up and be able to get the lead in that short stretch. That's where you want to be here. You mentioned the breeding. This is Quality Road, AP Indy. Should be no issues here at a mile and 16th at all for Awesome Road. So I like the 3 quite a bit here as well. I did use the 9 Locked as well. That was my 3rd horse and last horse on the 50-cent ticket. Locked looked great up at Saratoga in that second race. I mean, the first race was fine, but when you go back and you watch the first race, there were issues throughout that. Broke poorly, was in last early in that race, had to steady, tried hard the whole time, and then the second race stretching out to a mile just looked like an absolute beast. So I included Locked here, but I like the 1 and the 3 more.
So the reasons I'm going against Locked, other than the price, and that was a huge reason for it, the post, that's a big reason, right? Especially if you have all 9 horses here, that just hurts him that much more. But I don't like that he was 12-1 on debut, and it was a race where you had BU in that race, another Pletcher horse. But I'm not a big fan of BU. That's a Pletcher horse that got sent to California for the American Pharaoh. Just Steele's in here. Don't have any interest in him in this race. And then the horses who were in that race that have run since, 6 of them have run back. The best horse that's finished was the 10th place finisher that day, ran 3rd on the turf. The 1st and 2nd place horses, Just Steele and BU, ran 7th and 4th next out. So, I mean, I know Just Steele was in a tougher spot than the maiden special weight, but he didn't run well there. This is a grade 1. And the only horse to run back from Locke's maiden win finished 2nd in the next start to a horse named Stronghold. And that matters because Stronghold was 2nd to Awesome Road. Boom! It all connects. Awesome Road for the win.
You got the conspiracy theory guy going there with all the different thumbtacks. Yeah, look, I would give Lock, like I said, there was trouble in the first race, so I'm not going to judge Locked purely based on that first effort. The second one was eye-popping, and like that to me is why I was like, okay, all right. Again, also it's a $425,000 son of gun runner. Shouldn't have any issue with the distance. Malibu on the bottom side, Malibu Moon on the bottom side. Like this horse to me is a deserving favorite. I'm interested to see what the price goes off at. We'll see what Timberlake ends up in here. If Timberlake ends up in here, that's going to obviously affect the price on a lot of these. But I think Awesome Road takes money. I think the Wine Steward takes money. I'd be interested to see if Locked ends up going off at like 8-5 or 9-5. Actually floats up a little off the morning line. And just to defend Just Steel a little bit, anyone who was on the pace in the hopeful ran poorly because that thing collapsed like crazy, and that's why we saw Nutella whatever win. So I'm not going to blame anybody who was on the pace in the hopeful and take anything away from it because I don't think it's fair.
Nutella Fella, Gary Contessa opens and closes Saratoga with bomb wins. Yeah, I'm not going to forget that for a while. Third up for me, you went with Locked. I went with the long shot here. Speaking of kind of the tinfoil conspiracies, I went with the number 6, Generous Tipper. 15-1 morning line. This is the right price for playing Kenny McPeak in a grade 1 race with a 2-year-old baby. It's a price horse that I think is pretty logical. It sits a pretty close trip early in both of the dirt starts. It is able to pass horses, is able to overcome gaps. If you look at that dirt debut at Ellis Park, it was pretty weird. He had down the backstretch, he all of a sudden just backed up, slammed on the brakes out of nowhere. And then he started going again, and then it's like, shit, he's the only one that gained ground on West Saratoga, who went gate to wire. Everybody else just kind of fell apart. West Saratoga ran off, and this is the one that stayed with him. Next out comes back at Ellis Park. Runs really well inside a horse down the backstretch, which is not an easy place to be. Took off when he was asked, and he aired away. So I thought it was a very professional-looking horse, nothing flashy, but by Street Sense out of a Curlin mare. I think the reason he debuted on turf was because McPeak wanted distance for this horse, and so sometimes you can't find dirt races at a mile back in July for 2-year-olds. So I think this is a really sneaky one, and maybe he isn't strong enough to win right now, but watch out for this McPeak horse. If he can stay healthy, I think he might be a runner.
Yeah, I'd co-sign it. This was who I picked 4th in the race, so I don't think it's out of the question that Generous Tipper is able to get the job done and drop a quarter in the bucket at the end of this race, because this just seems like a horse that, we talk about McPeak at a price, especially at Keeneland and Churchill Downs, places like that. This kind of fits that bill, and the horse has improved every single start as well. I think that's the other big part of this is just step forward, step forward, step forward. So you assume you're going to see a better effort, and then like we talked about the breeding with the others, Street Sense out of a Curlin mare. Pretty good, again, for distance. So I don't hate the 6 Generous Tipper either. Yeah,
be an interesting one. Even if he doesn't win here, watch out for Kentucky Jockey Club. I think this could be a pretty good one for him. All right, Mike, the 5th. Oh, wait. No, we did talk about Locked. Okay, this 5th and final leg of the late pick 5 at Keeneland on Saturday, October 7th, race 10, the Coolmore Turf Mile Stakes. Grade 1 race for 9 horses, 3 and up. All boys. I had to check this time. 9 males, 3 and up. Going, of course, a mile. Your defending champion, Annapolis, is in here, but he's 6-1. 4th choice. No love for the champ. What's up with that? Oh, yeah. Master of the Seas is in here. He's 2-1. Yeah, okay. Talk to me about Master of the Seas, Mikey.
It's a pretty good horse.
Pretty good.
All you need to know. Pretty good. If you go back and you watch that Woodbine Mile, oh boy, I thought Master of the Seas was in trouble, because you go back and you watch it and there's not much pace on. This is Woodbine 23:47. That's not that fast to a half mile, especially for grade 1 turf horses. And you see where Master of the Seas is, and he's just he's in the back of the Armada, just hanging out there with his big gunships, and then just boom. I mean, as soon as they hit the turn, just flies by everyone, never even in doubt that Master of the Seas was going to be able to win the race. Just a really, really powerful performance. We talked about this one coming over, whether or not, he would take to the firmer turf courses here in the U.S. when we were previewing that race at Woodbine. So we did do that pick 5 there. I'd say he took to a little firmer turf course there in the good turf. Should be getting an even firmer turf course here with the firm. I would love to pick one of the U.S. horses. I'd love to pick Up to the Mark. I'd love to pick Set Piece. I'd love to pick Annapolis. Dude, they got their work cut out. It is going to take, and this is crazy to say, it is going to take a career best effort from Up to the Mark to beat Master of the Seas on Saturday.
I feel like I need to have some like American Revolutionary War music, like some drum and fife playing in the background a little bit here, because it's like a naval battle from 1776. You've got Master of the Seas for the British, and you've got Annapolis and Warfront for the Americans here.
Does it matter that the only British horse is set piece?
Well,
I was gonna say, I don't
okay,
think we ever had any big naval battles with Ireland.
they're part of the United Kingdom, and England runs the United Kingdom, so therefore it all counts. And,
Fair.
and watch, we're going to get a ton of hate mail because I know that the Euros hate that. Okay, anyways. Charlie Appleby is based in England. How about that one? Master of the Seas for me is a single here in the $5 ticket. I know you singled it in the $5 ticket as well. No real further explanation, and after what you gave there, we just saw. If you're watching or listening to this, you probably saw or listened to us react to it the Monday after. We absolutely love this horse. They're undefeated in all 3 starts at a mile this year. Here's the thing too. When I saw his name pop up, I started laughing because I didn't know he was coming here. I just thought he was training up to the Breeders' Cup. This is a gelding, so it's not like he needs it for a stallion. He's in the Breeders' Cup because of the Woodbine Mile. He's just here because Appleby just wants to big dick it a little bit more. I think he's mad that he lost a bunch of races earlier this year. And Appleby's like, no, we don't have to do this. But we're gonna do this just so that you really remember, America, who's the king of your turf racing. It's me, the English guy.
He heard the slander that Charlie Appleby lost a step. That's what we were hearing in the midsummer here, and he's like, no, let's just bring one of the big boys over here, see what's happening. Am I really gonna get over 2-1 on Up to the Mark? Yeah, I think you're gonna get 2-1. I think that's gonna be the off price on Up to the Mark. I think Master of the Seas is probably 7-5, maybe 8-5. I do think that Set Piece takes some money off that last effort. I think Indestructible takes some money coming over here. First time U.S. Did switch trainers. Delgado's going to take over the reins there. And I think Annapolis takes some money, and I think deservingly so. Like, look, if any of these horses ran into Casa Creed at Saratoga, they wouldn't win either, you know? And so I'm not going to hold that against Annapolis. Now, that last race at Kentucky Downs, that could have been a little bit better. I think that would be the
Kentucky Downs.
Yeah, and there was a check at the 16th pole, so like you could make an excuse for Annapolis there. The one thing is, like, when you look at how this sets up for Master of the Sea and Up to the Mark, there's pace in here. It's not even like you have 3 horses that probably want to go forward, and that makes it less likely in my mind that you're going to see a big time upset here. I do think this comes down to one of 4 horses. It's either the 1, 4, 5, or 9. For me, the 4, this Keeneland course is just a bad setup for Set Piece to be trying to rally from crazy far back with other really good horses that are going to be in front of him. So I kind of knocked the 4 out there, which means you're left with the 1, 5, 9. And I mean, if Up to the Mark like had a race in him, maybe I'm going Up to the Mark's direction here. But I don't love the fact that this is the first time we're really seeing a long layoff for Up to the Mark as well. I mean, he raced basically all the way through his 2- and 3-year-old campaigns. I'm sorry, 3- and 4-year-old campaigns up to this point. And, you know, it's been phenomenal. But it's the first time we're really seeing this horse off the layoff. I'm wondering what version of Up to the Mark we're going to get.
I don't like that they rushed him back. All great points. I don't like that it feels like they're rushing him back. And also, if you look at his past performances, like, this is a horse that we've loved for the turf, like, to represent until he got hurt. We're like, this is the American's best hope for the turf, not the turf mile. This is like a let's get him started back in a spot, and this is the only thing he's qualified for because he's a grade 1, multiple grade 1 winner. So this is kind of where he needs to go. But, like, you remember the Maker's Mark Mile?
I do.
You know,
it's Pierre.
Yeah, he got beat. It was a mile at Keeneland, and it wasn't good for him. He goes to a mile and an eighth. Suddenly, he's a badass. He goes to a mile and a quarter. Oh, he's really a badass. Like, it's okay. This is great. Mile, he's just going to get started on him. I did see something, by the way. It'll transition into talking about my other horse. I find the comment. Okay, Car Ramrod wants to know, did Flavian Pratt get the choice and choose Annapolis, or did Rapoli choose Jose to ride Up to the Mark? Now, Irad Ortiz usually was the rider for this horse. He's staying in New York. Mike, I think this is a case where Irad and Jose share the same agent. Irad's not there, so we put Jose Ortiz aboard, right?
Yeah, I think this is a situation where sharing the same agent really benefits both the Ortiz brothers because it's a really easy shift. And you can make the argument, well, look, Irad knows this horse really well. He can sit down, he'll talk to Jose, walk him through what he needs to know to be able to get on the back and have a successful race with up to the mark. So I think this is an agent thing as much as anything else. I don't think Pratt, or honestly, well, Jose probably chose it, but he didn't really have a choice. He was told he's going to ride up to the mark. To me, this was an agent setup, and I wouldn't read too much into where the jockeys land here.
The other one I did go with, and not because of that, I didn't read into it either, but great explanation. I did go with Annapolis for my other horse on the 50-cent ticket here. Turf Mile is his game. Other than the Breeders' Cup Mile, which he completely blew the start last year and didn't really have a chance that year anyways, but he completely lost it at the start. He's never had a bad race in a Turf Mile other than Kentucky Downs, and it's such a wacky track, and you mentioned it. He had to check up at the 16th pole, so I went with him. Flavian Pratt, is right up there with Tyler Gaffalione, with Irad, with Jose. So should be in line with giving a good effort. And like you mentioned, there's no Costa Creed in here. So if Master of the Seasons wins at a mile have all been at one turn. If he can't turn twice and get the job done, there's the problem right there.
Well, honestly, if you want the battle at sea between U.S. and Great Britain, shouldn't Annapolis be the U.S. horse?
Yeah, that's what I said. Master of the Seas for the Brits in Annapolis because he's by Warfront.
Oh, well, Annapolis is also, isn't that where the Navy is?
Yeah, Annapolis, Maryland.
Yeah, see? So that was what I was going for. I thought you said up to the mark, so my bad.
Oh, hell, I don't know. I might have. Annapolis, Maryland, Naval Academy there. Lots of America in here. Smoggington playing for Napa. Shadi bought an Annapolis Breeders' Cup hat from last year, hoping to go to the Breeders' Cup this year and wear it and see him. So she really needs Annapolis to win so that she can go see him, with last year's hat running this year's Breeders' Cup.
Honestly, look, if you like Annapolis, throw a couple bucks on English B right behind Annapolis and Exactas. Run behind Annapolis a couple times. English B, yes, I have a love for English B. English B could fill out a try or a super here if he runs the best race and a couple of them forget which way to turn.
Let's get into this episode of the Magic Mike Show. Thanks for joining Mike and I to talk about Keeneland's opening fall meet, Saturday Late Pick 5 for Saturday, October 7th. If you're listening, we'll read out our tickets one last time. And if you're watching, take a look down below. Should be all set. We each have 50-cent and $5 tickets, so I'll go ahead and give mine 2 and then give it over to Mike. For me, 50 cents, I'm going to hit the all button in the Woodford, then single the 6, single the 3, then go 1, 3, 6, and 1, 9. That's $36 on the $5 ticket. 7, 8, 9, 11. Single the 6, single the 3, single the 3, single the 1. That's $20 for mine, Mr. Somich.
Go a 50-cent ticket here. I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna change this in real time. So hold on. You filibuster for me for a second.
Filibuster for a little. Listen, while we are doing this, remember the Coolmore Turf Stakes, Coolmore Turf Mile Stakes betting Bible is available at racenews.com. It's out. So you can get it if you are a premium subscriber. It's already there for you. If you don't have it yet, if you want to get it, let me tell you right now, it is $40 if you buy the Bible, or for a minimum of $70, you get a monthly subscription. It will also include the Breeders' Cup 14 Trends to Know, as well as the wagering guide for the Breeders' Cup itself. That's $130 value, minimum $70 monthly subscription at racingdudes.com. Also includes free picks for every race, every track, every day, and those subscriptions could include the Somobombs from Mr. Mike Somich.
There you go. Great filibuster, buddy. All right, I'm going to play a $45 ticket for 50 cents. 2, 4. I added the ward at 20 to 1. 6, 9, 10 with 1, 4, 5 with 3 or 1, 3, 9 with 1, 5. Cost you $45 for 50 cents. Then we'll play a $5 ticket back. Go 9, 11 with 1, 4 with 3 with 1 with 1. Cost you $20 for $5. So $65 total on the 2 tickets.
Shadi asking the really important question. What mascot do you want to see live on the sidelines? Or live on the sidelines? I guess there's 2 ways to read that, isn't there?
Do you want to see live? What do you mean, what mascot?
Well, like the... So this is a Dudes Who Bet Daily thing where we started talking about how the Dolphins used to have an actual live dolphin in the end zone way back in the 70s. And then we were talking about how the Dan Campbell, for the Lions head coach when he first started, was like, we're going to change the culture. It's going to be a team all about toughness and scare people. We're going to put a live lion on the sidelines. And people were like, you can't put a live lion on an NFL sideline.
Yeah,
so that turned into this.
Well. Yeah. Man, there's not even that many animals out there anymore. I mean, you got the Buffalo in Colorado. That's a pretty good one. I'm trying to
Does
think.
Georgia still have the Bulldog?
Georgia still has UGA. Like they're in like UGA 9 now, so they just keep rolling through the UGAs.
UGA.
It would probably be one of the bird teams. I'm assuming that there is some bird team that has a kick-ass bird. Like I guarantee you there's like an Ospreys that has a Osprey. There's got to be some Hawks that have a hawk fly around the stadium because I've seen that stuff before. Yeah, I would probably go with Osprey or Hawk if I was going to go with someone, or Falcon. There's got to be one of them.
Ramrod, live endangered Bengal tiger, and then the players on the field had not only have to survive each other, but also the poachers from the bleachers trying to snipe at the tiger.
We need an elephant. An elephant would be another good one.
Oh man, I don't know. I'm a big fan of the pirate places, like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Whenever they score a touchdown, just blast a cannon that just like scares the shit out of you every time. That's what I like. Our Columbus Blue Jackets. The one good thing about Columbus, Ohio, is that their hockey team has a cannon.
I will give some props to Aaron's Oklahoma. I like that they have the stagecoach that rides out there like if you're on Oregon Trail after they score a touchdown every time. And I like the fact that there's always some suspense because I believe it was last year they tipped it like right in the middle of the game because they took too hard of a turn and the whole thing just went straight over. So that one's a fun one too from a tradition. I also credit to the Oregon Duck mascot who does a push-up for every point they score. They score a lot of points in some of those games. That Duck
those Chip Kelly eras, man.
Ooh.
The packs and shoulders on the Oregon Ducks during the Chip Kelly era must have been like.
I mean, when they go to the gym, man, Daffy Duck is intimidated. We'll just put it that way.
I always I don't know. They're alive when they get tossed. The Red Wings fans always throw the octopi out on the ice. I don't know if they're still alive by the time they land, but
that's just mean. Octopi only have a 1-year lifespan, and to throw them on the ice to waste
that's not real.
Yes, it is. Octopuses live for 1 year. I almost bought one, and then when I found out the lifespan, I decided not to get a pet octopus. 100%.
1 to 5 years. That is crazy. I thought they lived like forever.
No,
I thought this was like one of those like, what is it, parrots? They're like, don't buy a parrot because it's like a 40-year pet. You're like, God, this thing's still here.
Yeah, no, octopi do not have a long lifespan. However, they are wildly intelligent in that time frame and also grow quite a bit.
Jared could get through half of Western America on Tinder by the time that parrot died, I think. Speaking of Jared, check out Blinkers Off. It was live earlier today. A final prep weekend for the Breeders' Cup races. And they gave picks and rapid-fire selections, so check out Blinkers Off. Also, Dudes Who Bet Sports. Aaron and Papa Dude ran through the top 25 for college football and gave every pick for the NFL season, so check that out as well. Tons of previews over here. 15 at racenews.com. We have 15 Win and You're In races between Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Not to mention the 2 that got rescheduled from last week that were yesterday. That was a bitch. So just like, let's add more onto Magic's plate. That was fun. Thanks, guys. No, it's great. Lots of racing, lots of fun things happening over at racenews.com. We'd love to see you there. And of course, check out the Coolmore Turf Mile Stakes Betting Bible and find out how you can get that for free with any monthly subscription. Before we leave, Mr. Somich, any final thoughts?
Going to be a crazy weekend. 14 or 15 Win and You're In. So just a ton of races, big time races there. Already through the Keeneland and Aqueduct cards, as well as the Santa Anita card on Saturday. All 3 of those will be up for the bombs. The Keeneland, like the total card is pretty good. The Aqueduct card could get nutty in my mind. We'll see what happens there with the races. There's also a major tournament at Keeneland, so anyone who's wanting to play a tournament, you can check that out. It's available over on ExpressBet. There's qualifiers running over on Horse Tourneys. One of the last ones, you can qualify for both BCBC and the NHC in the same swoop. So get in on that. That's on Saturday, $4,000 buy-in. But you can win your way in for a couple $100. I believe I think it's like $275, something like that on Horse Tourneys. So go check that out. Let's see, anything else here? Oh, we got some a terrible Thursday night football game. Got the Bears going in to take on the Washington Commanders. Commanders currently laying 6, total sitting at 45. I got 2 bets from the game. Oh, really? I thought that was this week. Why would they not do it this week, Chris? All right. Well, we got one more week to qualify. There you go, everybody. I thought I had to qualify for this weekend. Bears going in to take on the terrible Commanders. Total sitting at 45. Commanders laying 6. Give me the Washington Commanders over team total, 25.5. I think they're going to be able to score, and the Bears have given up 25 or more in 13 straight games. And then give me Curtis Samuel over 3.5 receptions plus 135. Second on the team in catches, and he gets a bunch of short targets, so they're easy to convert.
Rob Ben saying, played your Curtis Samuel prop, Somich. Good luck on
He's
that
gonna
one.
do it, baby. We're gonna get.
That wasn't supposed to be sarcastic. Good luck.
He gets like 2 of those swing passes every single game. So you really only need 1 or 2 others to be able to push him over that 3.5 total. He's at 20 targets in just 4 games, so getting about 5 targets a game to get over 3.5. His quality of targets because of how short they are to the line of scrimmage makes it a lot easier for him.
I saw a player prop Justin Fields over 0.5 interceptions. It looked fun.
Minus 143 last I saw, I think, something like that.
It was it's been getting a ton of steam. It opened up plus money and it's getting close to minus 150, but there's no, he's gonna get just sacked like crazy. There's gonna be no chance for him to have a pocket to get settled. Like it's gonna be a nasty game tonight. I agree with you.
It's not great too. I mean, Rob mentioned it. I mean, the Bears are starting 2 rookie cornerbacks, I believe, and one replacement player in the secondary or in the safety level as well. So they have 3 of their 4 starting secondary are all replacement players for a team that was bad with their starters in. So that's never a good sign.
You want to watch some good football before Saturday. Friday night, 10 Eastern, Winnipeg Blue Bombers, BC Lions, a preview of the CFL Western Conference Playoff Finals. That's going to be Friday night, 7 p.m. Pacific, so we'll be nice and awake for that still, Mike. I'll come over. I'll bring some popcorn. We can watch it together.
Yeah, you should totally do that. I'll be here.
It's Friday night. Yeah.
I mean, no, you're coming now. You can bring the pot. We got a bunch of stuff coming from North Carolina.
It'll be Jenna and Lily and I on the couch eating popcorn and watching CFL.
Lily likes football. You could get her to do it. Jenna's another story.
Speaking of that, did Lily get to watch the Disney Plus Jacksonville Jaguars Toy Story game?
No, I was out of town, or else I totally would have had her watching it. Because I
didn't know if you had to watch the replay or not.
No, I thought they did a phenomenal job with it. And I know multiple people who have kids who are like, yeah, my kid watched the entire football game because they love the gimmicks of it. I got to give them credit for the little stuff, like the little claw that picked up the football and put it back. Phenomenal. The yardsticks being the slinky
dog. Yep.
Excellent job there as well. So got to give them credit. On the Disney Plus side, Magic, scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for the Loki premiere, which is only about 3 hours away?
About a 3.
Really?
I just finished. Listen, I did 15 videos yesterday. I have just been taking today to breathe, damn it. Like, no, I don't. Not all of us get whisked away to Vegas every weekend for work, okay? Some of us sit here and work.
This is the one Disney Plus show I really liked. And that, so I'm excited. I actually have Loki on the other screen rewatching the last episode right now just to get in the right mindset. I was handicapping for the week. So I'm excited for this one, especially after how bad Ahsoka was in the last episode.
How dare you? Ahsoka was a brilliant show. How dare you? No,
Last episode was trash.
How dare you? I needed to get through Ahsoka and kind of like marinate. And I think whenever my goal was once Ahsoka was done, kind of like marinate on it for a day and then start a Loki rewatch. I have no idea if we're going to try rewatching or watching Loki season 2 together, Mrs. Magic and I. We've seen 1 episode of Secret Invasion because we just don't ever have time. So
that show's awful. 1 is enough. You don't need to see any more.
I don't remember anything about it, and I feel like that's not a good sign. I'm very marveled out. It's a problem.
It's not great. And to be fair, Ahsoka was good until the last episode. Well, the last 2 weren't great, but the last one was terrible.
How dare you?
Terrible.
Little rat bastard.
I mean,
I'm just kidding.
I could pick so many nits on that show. It was no, can't buy it. I mean, I might be able to push you across the Breeders' Cup wire by the time we get there with how fast she was able to learn how to do that shit.
Anyways, all right, we'll get out of here. This has been fun. Thank you everybody for joining us for the Keeneland Late Pick 5 preview. If you are going to be playing, put your tickets down below in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. Follow us on Twitter. I'm at Curtis Kellord. He's at Somobomb 18 number 8. Corporate Overlords at Racing_Dudes. Visit racenews.com for free picks every race, every track, every day across the country. Get your premium products, including the Somobombs from Mike Somich, and any subscription package includes the Coolmore Turf Mile Stakes Betting Bible, the Breeders' Cup Betting Bible, and the 14 Trends to Know. We'll be back on Monday for like an 18-hour show to talk about everything that happened this weekend. Until then, I'm Magic.
And I'm Mike. I got one question for you. Patrick asks, who on here is with the first Breeders' Cup ever held? I was not at the first. 94 was my first year. What was your first Breeders' Cup year?
2017.
2017? Okay. So
ask me if I was alive when the first Breeders' Cup was ever held.
There we go. I know there's a lot of people from the show going to the Breeders' Cup. So let us know when your first Breeders' Cup year was as well. Can we throw a 30th anniversary party? I'll be going to the Breeders' Cup for 30 years next year. How wild is
It's
that?
at Del Mar. Hell yeah.
There we go, baby. Let's go.
We'll probably be up to episode 690 by then. All right, until Monday when we're back here, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you then. Good luck this weekend, everybody.
The Magic Mike Show, where you hear the experts speak. The Magic Mike Show. Tune into the show every week. The Magic Mike Show. You can trust the show is the bomb because it's being brought to you by RacingDudes.com.